Hey guys, it's Amanda here. So today I'm going to be doing a follow-up to my second tutorial Tuesday, which I did way back at the beginning of summer. It's crazy that school's starting this week and summer's almost over, so kind of mind-boggling. But anyways, back in that video, I showed you guys a way that I cleaned these shells here, these whelks and things, using muriatic acid, and that just kind of brought out the color in them. So I'll put a link up there and you can go watch that video if you want to know how I got to this stage. But what I'm going to be doing today is, now that we've kind of drawn the colors out, I want to give it that nice shiny wet look. So if you look at these shells, you still see the color that we brought out, but they just don't pop quite as much as they did when they were wet. So to achieve the wet look, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using a fast drying polyurethane spray. This is Minwax. The finish on this one is clear gloss. And if you look at my table here, I've got two different groups of shells. These are shells that I've already done a couple coats with polyurethane, but I used a satin finish. And if you look at this shell here, you can see how it's kind of getting a nice shiny look, but it's starting to get more of a shiny wet look, but it's not a bright glossy look because it's a satin finish. So we're going to be trying the clear gloss on these ones that have already been sprayed with the satin finish, and then we're going to be trying it on these ones that have only been cleaned. So a couple of things to keep in mind before you start spraying your shells is, first off, you want to work in a well-ventilated area. You know, this is a spray can, so you're probably going to want to be outside. And then the second thing to consider is you want to make sure your shells are clean. You want to make sure they're dry, no grit on them, because if they have grit on them when you spray them down, well, now that grit's going to be stuck on them for forever. So now I'm going to start by prepping my work area, and if you want a cheap and easy way to protect your work surface, take a trash bag, cut the side, cut the bottom, and there you go. You got your own tablecloth that you can get spray all over, and it's not a big deal. So now that I've prepped my work area, I've got my shells back out. I've also gone ahead and shaken the can, so you got to do that for 2 minutes. And also you want to shake while you're spraying. I mean, not while you're spraying, but pause between spraying and shake it a little more so it doesn't settle. And obviously read the back of your can, because if you're not using this exact spray, it might be a little bit different. But generally speaking, you're going to want to apply thin coats, and you're going to want to do kind of sweeping motions about 10 to 12 inches away. So I'm going to give one last shake here. Take the lid off, and I'm going to start spraying. I can get the lid off. There we go. So I'm kind of sweeping back and forth, just in gentle, thin coats. Don't do really thick coats, because then it will run, and you don't want that. Just try to get all angles of your shells. These ones over here, these I got from my vacation. The other ones are my parents' shells. So now I've sprayed the first coat on my shells, and again, read the instructions on your bottle of polyurethane, but you want to wait a little bit before you do your second coat, because if you do it too soon, then it'll just run and then you'll end up with a gloppy looking finish and it might not dry evenly. But if you wait too long, then this undercoat won't be able to finish drying all the way if you immediately spray over it. So you want to do it within 30 minutes or wait a full 72 hours. So I'm going to wait about the 20 to 30 minutes, and then I'm going to come back and do a second coat on these shells, and I'll probably do 3 coats. When I did the satin finish, I did about 2 or 3 coats on these shells, and I started to really see a difference, but I'm hoping that with this one it'll give a brighter look. So I'm going to probably do about 3 coats with the clear gloss finish, and then we will look at our results. Alright, so far I have done 1 coat on these shells, and if you look at them, they're looking pretty cool. You can really see the orange popping on that one, looking really nice. I also really like this purple one here. You can see these ones, it's really adding a nice shine to them. It's been about 30 minutes, and I'm going to do 1 more coat. I don't think I'm going to do any more coats than that, because I think this is the glossy finish is going to really have that nice wet look, and I don't think that's more than 2 coats will be necessary. So I'm going to go ahead by shaking up the canister again, and I'm going to spray them 1 more time, and then let them dry. And of course, with all these shells, I'll need to do the second side of them, like the undersides that are on the table. I'll need to do those at some point. Just obviously, you gotta let them dry between coats and things. Make sure not to go too thick with the coats. I might have gone a little bit too thick on a couple of these just now, because you want to make sure that it doesn't run. So now I'm going to let these shells dry, and then I'll show you the finished results. And then while I'm waiting to dry, I'll also mention this camera. These are not just like weird suspenders. This is an action camera. It's the Yi 4K action camera, and I've been pretty happy with it so far. I've used it for a couple of my other videos, and hopefully it'll help you guys get a different, perspective with these shells and just be able to see some close-up things and some different angles. So now we just gotta wait, and I will show you the finished results once they are dry. So here we are. The shells have been drying for about 3 days, about this full 72 hours to make sure they're completely dry. And this is the finished look. They turned out really nice. They have a very shiny, wet look. This one, especially this olive shell, really brought out the color. You can see this one here, how it's nice and shiny. I'm out in the sun. It has a nice wet look. I'll show you the back side. I haven't sprayed this side yet, so that kind of gives you some contrast. Look at this whelk back here. I think this whelk here is my favorite. You can really see in the sunlight. And just to give you an idea of the contrast, right around here is where it was sprayed, and then this is the side that was underneath, and it's not nearly as shiny nor as vibrant. So you can definitely see that nice kind of wet look that really draws out the colors. I'm really happy with this clamshell. It really drew out the rich, deep purple color. Again, you tilt it, you can see the sun shining on it different ways. Has a nice wet look, so it's vibrant, but it's dry. It's not water on there, it's just the spray that's dried. You can see when I rub my thumb against there. Here's a look at another whelk. There's this little guy. You can see how he's got that nice shine to him now. Where he brought out the color and the character. Even some of these lighter shells, I think they're really cool. And again, I'll show you on this side, you can kind of see right around here is where the spray was, nice and shiny. But then you come under here and there's some more color just the way the shell naturally is, but it's not nice and shiny. And so the polyurethane really added a nice sheen to these shells. Again, I only did 2 coats. I think that's good enough on these guys. So really the only thing left to do is to flip them all over and do the other sides of these shells. But I'm very happy with how the glossy finish polyurethane turned out.